Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to second PUC Accountancy online classes. In the previous class we have studied about different books of accounts maintained by not-for-profit organizations, then distinction between capital and revenue, receipts and payments, income and expenditure, then deferred revenue expenditure, right? Now let us move on to the meaning of certain important terms that are used in not-for-profit organization accounting. First one is capital fund. Capital fund. What is capital fund? Capital fund, in case of trading concerns, while preparing the books of accounts, while preparing balance sheet, you have come across on the liabilities side, you will enter all the liabilities, then you will write capital accounts. In case of partnership, capital accounts of partners, isn't it? You will write the final balance of, that is balance in partners capital accounts. But here the difference between the total assets and liabilities is called capital fund. Capital fund, because we cannot call it as capital account because it is of not for profit organization. They are not established for earning profits. They are established for providing social services. So it is just like a fund which can be used for, that is promotion of art, culture, education, or whatever it is, for which purpose the organization is established. Correct? So total assets minus liabilities is equal to capital fund in case of not for profit organizations, or it is the difference between the total assets and total liabilities of a not for profit organization, and it includes capitalized receipts like entrance fees, legacies, life membership fees, isn't it? And opening balance of capital fund of last year and current years, that is a surplus, or surplus will be added and deficit will be deducted from it. So it includes capitalized receipts and current year surplus. So this is about capital fund. Legacies. Second one is legacies. Legacies. In most of the question papers you can see a question on this. In board exam they will ask you mostly this question. In most of the question papers you can find this question. What are legacies? Legacies are the donation or gift received under a will. What do you mean by will? An agreement, isn't it? An agreement made, that is without any force. If I promise some trust or not for profit organization or sports club or any other cultural associations or clubs, if I promise in writing that after my death my property will go to this trust or organization or society or club, then that deed or the document which is prepared, legal document which is prepared, through which I am going to donate or I am going to give my property to that particular trust or concern or club or society, is called will. So to give any gift to others, we have to execute or prepare a deed which is called will. And legacies are the donations or gifts given under a will to a not-for-profit organization by the donor. Suppose Mr. A is there. He has crores of property, 100 crores property is there with him. No one is there to look after him, or no one is there behind him, or no legal heirs are there. So what he will decide, or people are there, legal heirs are there, but they didn't take care of him properly during his lifetime. So he on his own will and wish, he will execute a deed, gift deed, which is called will, and he will donate all his property to the society, trust, or any not-for-profit organization. Then it is called legacies. Whether everyone will do this? No. People wants to secure their great grandson also, isn't it? Myself till my end, fine. My son, he has to lead a comfortable life because I made such a property to him also, and his children, isn't it? They also should be safe. That is our intention. Normally, human beings are selfish and they want to make money, they want to safeguard their children, their grandchildren, isn't it? But some people, maybe out of 1,000, maybe one person like that, they will donate their property to some, that is cultural, religious, or any other, that is not-for-profit organizations. That is called legacies. So they are not recurring in nature. Everyone will not donate. One person out of 1,000 or lakh may donate like this. So they are not repetitive in nature. They are not recurring in nature. So they are capitalized receipts. And these legacies, that is a gift received, should be added to capital fund on the liability side of the balance sheet. While preparing balance sheet, liability side, capital fund, opening balance, add legacies. So that is what we have to do, because they are capitalized receipts, amount of heavy nature, isn't it? And they are not recurring again and again, they are not coming again and again. So they are capitalized receipts. So this is called legacies. Now moving on to the next topic, the next concept or term, endowment fund. Endowment fund. This is a fund donated by some donor to provide a permanent source of income to not-for-profit organizations. What do you mean by permanent source of income? I will donate a hall. That is, I will promise that I will pay the entire cost of the hall if you construct a hall for your organization. Maybe some trust or religious organizations or any club or society. I will promise that I will give the entire cost of the hall if you construct a hall for public use. Then, if I pay the money, what happens? The hall gets constructed. After that, the society can let that hall on rental basis. Isn't it? Functions can be done. Maybe different marriage function and all those other party functions, everything can be done, for which the society will get the rent, isn't it? 1 day rent or 3 days, 5 days, 1 month, like that, isn't it? It can be hired and the society or the not-for-profit organization can earn revenue, and it will give a revenue base to the organization for its promotional activities, for its help to the society, to help to the public at large, isn't it? So such permanent source of income, if created, and for which a fund is created or given or donated by some donor, that is called endowment fund. And that is permanent source of income will be created, and it is for a longer period of time, and this fund comes to the not-for-profit organization not every day, not regularly. It is non-repetitive in nature, isn't it? So that is called endowment fund. It is called endowment fund, and it is a capitalized receipt, and hence it should be shown as a separate fund on the liability side of the balance sheet. It should not be added to what? Capital fund. It will be shown separate because it is a separate fund. Specific fund we can call it as construction of a swimming pool, construction of a concert hall, construction of a hall, isn't it? Or construction of a pavilion, isn't it? So all these comes under the capitalized receipts, and it should be shown separately on the liability side of the balance sheet of the not-for-profit organization. Then next one is honorarium. Honorarium. Honorarium is nothing but, instead of paying salary, in case of trading concerns we pay salary to the employees, right? But in case of not-for-profit organization, they are established for providing service to the society at large. Their intention is not to earn profit. So what we will do is, we will appoint someone as part-time, that is employee, or secretary, we will call them as secretary, isn't it? Or president, or whatever the name you call. And for the services rendered by them, the concern may pay some amount, not as a salary. Suppose if the person works for 3 or 4 hours, we may give a small amount, maybe 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 per month. If you hire a person as an employee, then you may have to pay 10 to 15,000 or 20,000, isn't it? So this person will work for the concern, and as a small, that is a gratitude, isn't it? As a gratitude, the concern may pay a small amount to that person for his struggle. That is called honorarium. That is called honorarium, and it should be paid regularly. Every month the honorarium should be paid to the secretary or whatever the name you call. So as it is repetitive in nature, recurring in nature, it should be treated as revenue receipt. Is it receipt? No, revenue expenditure. The concern has to make payment, so it is expenditure or revenue expenditure, and should be entered on the left hand side of income and expenditure account. Because what will you write on the left hand side in income and expenditure account? Income or expenditure? Expenditure. First you will write expenditure on the left hand side or debit side, isn't it? So it should be entered on the debit side of income and expenditure account as an expenditure, honorarium. Then entrance fees. It is an amount collected from members on their admission to the not-for-profit organization. When a person joins the not-for-profit organization as member, an amount will be collected from them. So this is a regular income to not-for-profit organization. It should be treated as revenue receipt. Revenue receipt. There was controversy, that is fifth item, entrance fees. Some authors treat this as capital because their argument is one member will pay only once in their lifetime as entrance fees. But others argue that old members may quit and new members may join. So every month we will see this entrance fees in the income and expenditure account of the concern. So this should be treated as a revenue. As it is repetitive in nature, it should be treated as a revenue. But others, some authors, they opine that these are the entrance fees collected only once, so it is not repetitive in nature. For one person it is non-repetitive, but for the concern it is repetitive, right? So you You just treat this as income and enter on the credit side of income and expenditure account as income. Clear? Right hand side of income and expenditure account. Special fund. Sixth one is special fund. Any special fund. See, special fund, to which you call special fund? Any fund which is created for a specific purpose. Donation for construction of a swimming pool. Donation for construction of a pavilion to a temple. Isn't it? Or donation for construction of a library. Or donation for construction of a playground. Isn't it? So all these are heavy expenses, but the amount is donated by the donor for a specific purpose. You cannot use, the concern cannot use that amount for any other purpose other than for the purpose for which it is donated. Suppose amount is donated by the donor for construction of a swimming pool, you must construct swimming pool from that amount. If swimming pool is not constructed, the amount should be there in the balance sheet only. You should not touch that amount, because there is specific instruction and the donation was given for a specific purpose, that is for construction of swimming pool only. If it is not constructed, the amount should not be touched for any other purpose by the organization. So such funds are called special funds, and they are non-recurring in nature. Non-recurring in nature, and hence that those should be shown as special funds on the liability side of the balance sheet. That should not be entered in income and expenditure account. It should be shown separately in the balance sheet before capital fund. Along with other liabilities, you have to show it as a special fund. Donation for construction of swimming pool, or sports fund, or swimming pool fund, wasn't it? Or building fund. Like that, there will be a name along with the fund. Such funds are called that is a special funds. Clear? Yes. Now next one is donations. Very confusing, friends, donations. Earlier there was confusion, now the confusion is not there at all. Earlier it was there was instruction, if the donation amount is small, treat it as revenue. If the donation amount is huge, then treat it as capital. Now the question is, which amount you will treat as small and huge? So there was confusion. I may treat 1 lakh as small amount. The other person, Mr. A, may treat 10,000 as a big amount. Wasn't it? Or I may treat 100 rupees as big amount, because for me it is big amount. Isn't it? So there was no proper criteria how to treat the donations. Now it is very clear. Now there is no confusion. It is very clearly instructed that donations should be treated as revenue. Donations always should be treated as revenue, whether it is big or small. But remember, if there is a specific instruction in the problem, half of the donations are to be capitalized. So 50% enter in income and expenditure account on the income side, and 50% add it to the capital fund. General donation I am speaking. And specific donation, like I told you, special fund. In the same way, specific donation for construction of a swimming pool, treat it as capital. Treat it as capital. Legacies, capital, add it to the capital fund, isn't it? So special donations, capital. General donation, that is should be treated as revenue only. If there is an instruction to capitalize, capitalize it. Otherwise, don't capitalize. Show the donations as income and enter on the credit side of income and expenditure account. Is it clear now? Yes. With this, the different items, the treatment comes to an end. I'll take up the problem part in the next class, but before that, let us analyze some items. Capital fund, I already told you, capitalized receipt, right? So, on the liability side of the balance sheet, it is capital in nature. Subscriptions, they are received regularly. Subscription is nothing but the amount received from the members, isn't it? Every month, the amount received from the members. Remember, if subscription for newspapers, it is revenue in nature, subscription on newspaper, but it is expenditure, revenue expenditure. We are subscribing for the newspapers for which every month we have to pay the amount, isn't it? So it is revenue expenditure. And if they give normally subscriptions on the receipt side, it means it is income. It is income, and they are the regular source of income to the not-for-profit organizations, the major source of income for the not-for-profit organizations. So hence it should be credited to income and expenditure account, should be shown on the income side of income and expenditure account. And special subscription, special purpose always will be capital, remember. Special donation, special purpose, anything should be treated as capital only. It will not find a place in the income and expenditure account. It will go to straight away balance sheet. Government grant, special, I told you, specific purpose, always capital. Add it to the where? Capital fund. Government grant, general revenue. It is general revenue, right? So income and expenditure account, income side. Government grant means the amount given by the government to compensate for any expenses or whatever it is for general purpose, isn't it? So that is income to the not-for-profit organization. Sale of old newspapers, recurring in nature. Again and again, maybe once in a month, once in 2 months, we may dispose these newspaper, old newspapers. So recurring in nature, repetitive in nature. So it is when we sell the newspaper, we will get income. So it is receipt, revenue receipt on the income side of income and expenditure account. Then additions, extensions and improvement of fixed asset. Any improvement of fixed asset, if the capacity of the asset increases, if it increases, earning capacity, if it is increased, then capital, otherwise revenue. Normal repairs or renewals or anything will be treated as revenue only, revenue expenditure side, isn't it? If the capacity increases after repair or addition, earning capacity increases, then it should be entered on and it should be added to the concerned asset in the balance sheet. If the capacity will not increase, then normal expenditure. Clear? Heavy repair and alteration and replacement of fixed asset. If the major repair is done, capacity increases, should be treated as capital, should be added to the concerned asset in the balance sheet. Then specific collection and their expenses such as lectures, drama and concerts, musical concerts, isn't it? You call it as orchestra. Any fund is created, then should be deducted from the concerned fund on the liability side of the balance sheet. The expenses related to that particular fund should be deducted from that fund only. If fund is not there, then all the expenses should be treated as revenue expenditure and should be entered on the left hand side of income and expenditure, on the expenditure side. Clear? Yes. Then sale of old sports materials like old bat, old net, old balls, isn't it? This should be treated as revenue only because that is repetitive in nature. Whenever a match occurs, some, that is a bat, net, ball, all these things will become scrap and it should be sold, isn't it? Old bat and old sports materials, that should be treated as revenue in nature. So when we sell, we will get money, so revenue receipt. Old sports equipment sale, that should be treated as capital, because sports equipment means what? Like jogging machine, isn't it? Or maybe that is a billiards table, isn't it? Tennis table. All these are the equipments that should be treated as capital, because we never sell now and then. Once it is sold, one new will be purchased and it will be used for a longer period of time, more than 1 year, right? Sale of fixed assets or equipments, always capital, because they are long term in nature, isn't it? And they are not recurring in nature, not non-repetitive. So this is about different, that is items that are treated in not-for-profit organization. In next class, I will send you solved problems related to classify the following into capital and revenue. For that, explanation is not required. Only I have to tell, you will come to know by seeing the items, you will come to know, because this is practical oriented question, friends. Remember, this is practical oriented question. In board exam, they will ask you one question on this for 5 marks. So there are 3-4 problems. I will send it through WhatsApp, and in next class we will take up straight away 12 marks problems on not-for-profit or profit organizations. We will solve maybe 10 to 12 problems, and with that your part 1 in accountancy will be done. Part 2 already we have covered 2 chapters, correct? So a few is remaining. Now let me give you homework to you, as assignment. Note down, what are legacies? What are legacies? What are legacies? Write answer and submit on time. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.